Hello everyone, I'm Corey and we're talking Manpower. Today I've got an extremely special guest with me. I have Mr. Edward Emden. He's the Chief of the Civilian Workforce Transformation Team. Mr. Emden, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Hey, good morning. Glad to be with you.
So, I understand that in your former life you were a CP26 intern. So, talk about your time as a CP26 intern and then your kind of career progression after that.
Sure. As you said, I started out as CP26 intern with MedCom up at Fort Detrick, doing a lot of TDA management type stuff and several rotations in different parts of the Army. It's just great broad experience in several different areas of Manpower. Since then, I went to the Army Manpower Analysis Agency, and I've actually worked with them on two separate occasions, once as a management analyst and once as an operations research analyst, building manpower models and things like that at the Manpower Analysis Agency, which was a really great experience and got to learn a lot of different things that go on within the Army in that job. Also, I worked at a headquarters at AMC, doing manpower as well, and then a couple years where I was doing resource analysis work, so CP11 type work, before coming back to the manpower field. And then now, for the last 9 months or so, I've been working in civilian workforce transformation, so really getting some HR experience as well.
So it seems like you've worked at, command levels, installation levels, big Army, small Army kind of levels. So did you think your time as a manpower and force management, analyst, was it valuable, and how so, based on your current job here in CWT?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting to me. So having been an analyst for all of my career, things you think come as second nature. It's an entirely different perspective than folks who are trained differently than you have. So there's, in this job especially, a lot of times where human resource specialists approach problems differently. So we might look at the same problem and see two different solutions, and the best solution is probably a marriage of the two. So I've seen that quite a few times already. Specifically the force management piece of it, just understanding the structure of the Army also has been really helpful for solving a lot of problems and making sure we get the word out to everybody for many of the human resource initiatives that we're working.
So explain to me a little bit about your current position here in the civilian workforce transformation area.
Sure. CWT was stood up in 2010 to complete a series of initiatives to further develop and advance the civilian workforce. So in the past, CWT's done a lot of things, placing everybody in a career program and standing up new career programs. Also the rollout of our enterprise leader development programs. We're currently rolling out the third one now, our emerging enterprise leader program for GS 11s and 12s. So lots of different initiatives. Right now, one of the biggest things that we're working is employee engagement. So we're spending a lot of effort on that, the Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey, and how to really communicate across the Army the importance of engagement and how folks can foster that in their organization.
Why should the average Army civilian care about civilian workforce transformation? Why is it important to them on their daily little lives?
Hopefully you should be feeling the effects of some of the things the civilian workforce transformation is doing. There's lots of new development opportunities that are out there. That not just CWT, but many of the folks that we partner with have been working to develop and advance for folks. So there's those enterprise leader programs that are out there. We're also in constant communication with the career program teams to help make sure we're being mutually supportive in the development that we offer folks. And then it's also, as I mentioned, engagement. We are really responsible for driving this culture of engagement in the Army that hopefully will contribute to the quality of the work experience that folks have when they show up to work every day.
So let's really hit the nail on the head here with this engagement. Why is engagement important? Why if I just show up from 9 to 5 and then I do what's in my PD and I go home for the day, why should I be engaged? Why is this important for myself and for me to be engaged in the Army?
I would say that why is it important to you? That's really got to be awfully boring to come to work every day and just do your job. And we want more and expect more from employees. And as an organization, the Army is working to, what am I trying to say here? So we believe we owe you as an organization more than that. We want to have a collaborative relationship with employees. We want you to offer suggestions to help us get to the best possible solutions. And it just leads to a more fulfilling work environment. From an organizational perspective, engaged organizations have higher retention, higher productivity, and things like that. So it's great. It's a good business decision. It should make it a more rewarding experience for folks in their actual work environment to know that you can contribute to the solution and not just continue to be a cog in the wheel, but to actually make a lasting contribution. To have that opportunity, I think, is really important to folks.
So I understand that the CWT team here is very heavily involved in the Army aspects of the Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey, or as you like to say, FEVS. So why should Army civilians take this survey? Why is it so important?
I actually get asked this question a lot because I think there's a perception out there that the results aren't used of the Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey. But I really can't disagree with that strongly enough. Certainly at the Army level, and I know I have frequent contacts with the commands and some folks at the unit level as well, who are really asking detailed questions about what the Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey is telling us and how we can take actions to help address some of those. So we have very frequent conversations about what are some of the issues, how do we address some of these. Several of the programs that we're rolling out and the initiatives are addressing some of the areas that were talked about in the FEV survey. Specifically developmental opportunities, as well as creating just that overall engaging environment of trust and respect as well. So it's important because we want your voice to be heard, and the more information that the Army can get from folks, the more we can take action. And more feedback is always good feedback, and just understand it's absolutely utilized at all levels of the Army. And also, so a lot of times people only get the FEVS results back and they'll say, oh, here's the Army score for this or that, and then move along. Well, actually the scores get reported down to the unit level. So it's really a great way to communicate with your organizational leadership also as to how you think things are going in your local level as well, so that they can help understand the situation and reinforce what's good and make some changes where things could be better.
So it's my understanding that the FEV survey rolls out in late April, correct? And then I'm assuming that Army civilians will be hearing from your office and from the Army at large about the window and things like that. Is that kind of a correct thing to say? Yeah,
that's correct. The survey is going to start in either late April or early May, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from CWT in the next couple months, particularly as it gets really close. We want to make sure folks know that the survey's out there. There were some technical IT challenges last year that were warning folks it may not be a secure site. We're working through all of those issues, but we want to make sure we reinforce that this is a legitimate survey and that we want to encourage your feedback as much as possible.
Well, I know I, for one, am very, very much looking forward to taking the FEV survey because I know how important it is for my organization, and I like to have my voice heard. So you've sold me on that one, Mr. Emden.
Great.
I understand now that the CWT is also rolling out several new initiatives in the coming year. Can you briefly talk about a couple of them?
Some of the more immediate term things we're doing are our employee engagement training events. So we're doing an event out at Fort Leavenworth in March of 2017 for GS 13 to 15 supervisors, just to talk about all areas of engagement and how supervisors have that really critical role in influencing engagement and fostering a culture of engagement. We're also doing a training event this year for senior executives over the next couple months. So we'll be providing training for the role that senior leaders play in developing engagement. Other areas outside of engagement, we're working on the Emerging Enterprise Leader Program. I mentioned that earlier. That is our program, again, for GS 11s and 12s. It's part of the family of programs, this Senior Enterprise Leader, Emerging Enterprise Leader, and now, Senior Enterprise Talent Management, the Enterprise Talent Management Program, and now the Emerging Enterprise Leader Program. So this is really important because it'll give us the opportunity to have a leader development track for an enterprise leader development track for folks from the GS 11 level through and including the GS 15 level. So some really great opportunities, and that's going to start in, we'll be rolling it out in October of 2017. So commands, this program is going to look a little bit different too. because it's not going to be a centrally managed Army-wide program. We've set out some requirements for the commands, what has to be contained in the program, and each command is going to run their own program within those guidelines. So commands are already well on their way to developing the framework and starting the implementation of their programs. So you should be hearing more about that, both from CWT and from your command, hopefully in the next couple months as we get even closer to rollout on that.
Well, Mr. Emden, that's all the questions I have. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, it's just that civilians across the Army are doing some really great things in their work, and I'm really excited to be in this position and to have the opportunity to share some of the great work that folks are doing as part of our CWT efforts. And really, I get energized and excited talking about engagement, and I think it's going to have a great positive impact for our civilian workforce going forward. So it's just a really exciting future.
Mr. Emden, I appreciate everything you do for Army civilians on a daily basis. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for speaking with me today. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, everyone, that's all we have time for today. We look forward to our next segment. In the meantime, feel free to like us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ArmyCP26, for all the latest news and updates from the Manpower and Force Management career field. And until next time, have a great Army Day.